Alright, people, what's up today? I'm going to do some NFL Smash Mouth Football Sunday predictions. I'm going to skip Thursday Night Football. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to skip Thursday Night Football. It don't sound like a very competitive matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because I just don't think that's a very good matchup. So I'm going to skip that Thursday night football game prediction. Maybe next Thursday I will actually do an actual video on Thursday night football where it's an actual competitive matchup. But these are two matchups on a huge schedule, the NFL, that I am going to go ahead and do. First one is going to be the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings versus the Green Bay Packers. Now, this is an actual football game worth watching on Sunday football. Now, the Minnesota Vikings is a football team that has not exactly been stellar in the last 8 years. The last 8 football seasons, they have lost a lot of football games. They have had a lot of injuries. They've traded a lot of players. They made improvements on offense. Like, when it comes to offense, they're very strong, very powerful. Their defense is a little shaky. Like, their defense, 1 minute's good, next minute's bad. Like, their defense is up and down. Now, the quarterback on the Minnesota Vikings, he's a draft pick. He's kind of like an Eli mixed in with some Andrew Luck. So I don't know what this football team is going to do. If they can beat the Green Bay Packers, this will put their season into perspective. Let's be honest, the Minnesota Vikings football team has not exactly been stellar. I mean, all the teams that have made it to the playoffs in the 8 seasons have been getting there. Now, if they can just knock off the Packers in this season opener for them, they didn't even win their first football game, so there's something wrong with this football team. It's like they ain't got no identity. It's like the Vikings can't even decide who are they. They don't know if they're the Minnesota Vikings for the 8 years they keep struggling to make it to the playoffs. They don't know if they're the Vikings that once won their division. They don't even know what football team are they. They're confused right now. It's like a kid in high school or in college that can't decide if he wants a girlfriend or not. That's the Minnesota Vikings. They can't decide if they want to play basketball or football in college. That's the Minnesota Vikings. Strong, powerful offense, got a lot of offensive weapons, but when it comes to their defense, 1 minute they got good defense, bad defense, 1 minute is up and down, 1 minute you can't even find the Minnesota Vikings. They do good like the first quarter, second quarter they start to struggle, third quarter they go missing like a ghost, and the fourth quarter they make some kind of comeback, and then you don't know if they're going to win the football game or not. It's like they can't decide if they want to win the football game or not. It's like they just don't have no identity. Now as for the Green Bay Packers, their quarterback's Aaron Rodgers. They know exactly what they have to do. All the Packers have to do is win the football game. I mean, that game with Chicago was hard to watch. It was hard to watch that football game 2 weeks ago. That was just preseason. Now, if Aaron Rodgers can get out of that funk, that stank, that funk, that runk that they're in, and get it together and play like an A-star quarterback and beat the Minnesota Vikings, I would say score should be 25-10 or something like that. I'm not expecting a high score, but if they can beat them 25-10 and make an impression in the football game, this will set the run for the Packers. They will win, I would say, 9 or 10 out of 12 football games, make it to the playoffs, and this would be perfect because there's no one in their conference or in their division to stop them. They can beat the Chicago Bears. They can beat the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit Lions might be the only team. Detroit Lions and I think the Giants, the Dolphins, and the Patriots, those might be the only teams that might actually pose a problem for the Packers. Now, the Patriots are not in their division, but they will face the Patriots at some part in the season. And if Aaron Rodgers wants to prove to the critics and the naysayers that he's a better quarterback, he has to start making a statement in this football game. He has to. It's in Green Bay. They have home field advantage. They should be able to win the football game with no problem. You lose to a Minnesota Viking in Green Bay, then then they ain't good. The fans don't like that. So, my game prediction for this matchup is that Green Bay's probably gonna win. The score is probably gonna be 25-10. I don't think Minnesota's going to really do a whole lot in this game. I think Minnesota might just score 10 points, just lay down and roll over, and Green Bay just look dominant because they're in Green Bay. Now, if the game was in Minnesota, Green Bay would probably still win the football game, given that the fact they have everything. They have offense, they have defense, they're bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. They can play on both sides of the football. They can play all four quarters. If you were to somehow tie this game up, it wouldn't bother Aaron Rodgers. He can send the game into overtime, 2 overtimes, 3 overtimes. Aaron Rodgers has that ability to do it. Now, if they lose the football game, it'll be only because the quarterback is not focused. So if Aaron Rodgers is focused, the Packers are focused. If Aaron Rodgers is not focused, then the Packers are not focused. So I believe if you have the home field advantage, and it's the regular football season, I say the score would be 25-10. I think Minnesota will only score 10 points. I don't think Minnesota is going to do anything. If Minnesota does win the football game, then it's going to be an upset. It'd be like, how on earth did you upset Green Bay Packers in Green Bay? Like, it's actually hard to go to Chicago, Detroit, New England. I would probably say New Orleans. And I would say Green Bay. It's hard to go to them competitive environments and upset them. So if Minnesota upset Green Bay, then that might ruin the rest of the Green Bay Packers season. I'm saying if Minnesota win, which I don't even think Minnesota's going to win. So I think the score is going to be 25-10. I think Minnesota might score 10 points. If they're lucky, maybe 12 or 13 points. That's it. Green Bay, they might have to score 20 to 25 points to make an impression that, hey, we're still a force to be reckoned with. We still have the best quarterback. So that's my prediction on the Vikings versus the Packers.